안녕하세요, 터미입니다. Let's learn Korean cheerfully. Today's grammar is first, 아무이나, any, and second, 아무도, no, and third, 얼마나 은인지, how much something is. If you learn today's grammar, 한국어를 제가 얼마나 열심히 공부해왔는지 아세요? Do you know how hard I have studied Korean? Like this example, you can make appealing sentences. Let's learn the expression how much and pass topic to level 4 and become super intermediate masters. You can do it! 그럼 시작할게요! The first grammar is 아무이나, any. It is used to indicate not selecting any specific thing, time, person, etc. You use this in interrogative expressions or positive statements. There are some idiomatic expressions for 아무이나, so I'll summarize all of them here. For a time, 아무 때나 means anytime. For a thing, 아무거나, 아무 것이나 means anything. For a place, 아무데나 means anywhere. And 아무 곳이나 means any place. For a person, 아무나 means anyone. 아무하거나 means with anyone. And 아무한테나 means to anyone. Hey teacher, did you forget to put the space between 아무 and 것? Oh, that's a wonderful question. Word spacing could be confusing in Korean, right? You might want to write 아무 space 것. However, since 아무것 is a compound word that is solidified into one word, you put them together, okay? Compared to 아무것, 아무 때나, 아무데나, 아무 곳이나 are not solidified as one word. That's why you separate them. Regarding 아무나, 아무하거나, 아무한테나, 아무에게나, you write them together because 아무 is a noun, which means anyone here. Okay? This expression is similar to the next grammar, 아무도, no. However, you use it in a different situation. Since I'll explain in more detail in the next grammar section, for now, you remember you often use 아무이나 in affirmative or interrogative sentences. I want to emphasize often here because it can be used in negative sentences as well. Okay? How to conjugate is that you put ina after a noun. You attach na for nouns without a final consonant and ina for nouns with a final consonant. As for 띄어쓰기, space between words, you write 아무 and nouns separately, such as 아무 책이나, any books, or 아무 커피나, any coffee. Now, let's take it out with an example. 넌 뭘 먹고 싶어? What do you want to eat? 아무거나 좋아. Anything is fine. Here, 아무거나 anything is used, which is the idiomatic expression I explained earlier. In addition, please pay attention to the adjective 좋아, fine. This grammar often ends with affirmative expressions. This part is important to distinguish 아무이나 and 아무도, which we will learn next. Let's see the next interrogative example. 그 행사에는 아무나 참가 가능하세요? Can anyone participate in that event? Here, 아무나 means anyone. You can memorize it as it is. In addition, this is an interrogative sentence which ends with a question mark. Let's look at the next example. 과장님, 모카랑 라떼가 있는데 뭘 드릴까요? Manager, there are mocha and latte. What can I get for you? 아무 커피나 주세요. Please give me any coffee. Here, coffee is coffee. You attach 아무, any before it. Since coffee does not have a final consonant, you attach na to make 아무 커피나 any coffee. Quiz! Let's deepen our understanding with some quizzes. Which one is the correct answer? 요즘은 일이 없으니 만날 수 있어요. I don't have to work these days, so I can see you anytime. Number 1, 아무 때나. Number 2, 아무데나. The correct answer is number 1. Since any time indicates time, you use 때 to make 아무 때나 anytime. A similar expression is 언제든지, whenever. Number 2, 아무 데나 is close but wrong because it means anywhere. Okay? Now, let's read it together. 요즘은 일이 없으니 아무 때나 만날 수 있어요. Please read it 3 times with the emotion of feel free to contact me for catching up. Now, let's look at the next quiz. 막말하면 안 되는데 You are not supposed to bluff to anyone. Number 1, 아무에게나. Number 2, 아무나. The correct answer is number 1. 아무에게나 means to anyone. 아무 is a pronoun used to indicate a random person. 에게 is a particle which means to whom. 나 is a particle which means any. Altogether, it means to anyone. In addition, it is said 안 되는데, which is a negative sentence. As you can see, 아무이나 could be used in a negative sentence as well. But most of the time, it is used in affirmative sentences. Okay? Number 2, 아무나 means anybody. It does not have the particle 에게, to. Thus, it is incorrect. Now, let's read it together. 아무에게나 막말하면 안 되는데. Please read it 3 times as advice to your friends. The second grammar is 아무도, no. This expression means the total negation, like not at all. A particle do, even, is used here to emphasize negation. Although 아무이나 and 아무도 are very similar, please remember that you use 아무이나 for an affirmative sentence often and 아무도 for a negative sentence. For example, 아무거나 좋다 means anything is good. In this sentence, 아무거나 anything is followed by 좋다, to be good, to be fine. On the other hand, 아무것도 마음에 안 들다 means I don't like anything. Here, 아무것도 anything is followed by a negative word such as 마음에 안 들다, I don't like. There are some idiomatic expressions for 아무도 as well, so I'll summarize all of them here. For a thing, 아무것도 means nothing. For a place, 아무데도, 아무것도 means nowhere. For a person, 아무도 means nobody. 아무한테도 means to nobody. 아무하고도 means with nobody. Okay? Hey Tammy, what about the time? Yes, that's an excellent question. For a time, 아무 때도 means no time. However, somehow Korean people don't use this expression often, so I didn't write it. Korean people use 시간이 없다, there is no time, more often than 아무 때도. Okay? I hope this has cleared your head. You will use these expressions often, so please repeat them over and over again to memorize. How to conjugate is that you simply add the particle do to the noun. Simple is the best! Now, let's look at an example. 이 비밀은 아무도 모를 거야. I think nobody knows this secret. Oh, I wonder what kind of secret it is. Here, 아무도 means nobody. The adjective 모르다, to not know, is negative in meaning, right? So you use it like 아무도 모르다. Nobody knows. Anyone doesn't know. As a whole, you are expressing a total negation. Let's look at the next example. 군대에서는 아무 생각도 없이 움직이면 안 되지. In the military, you can't move without thinking. There are weapons in the military, so it would be better to move after proper ideas or instructions, right? Here, 생각 is thought, thinking. You combine 아무도, no, to make 아무 생각도, no thinking. 없이 means without. So 아무 생각도 없이 means without any thinking. Next is an expression that Koreans often use when they feel relieved. Now, let's take a look. 아무 일도 없어서 다행이다. I'm glad nothing happened to you. Here, 일 is a thing. You combine 아무도 with it to make 아무 일도 nothing. The following expression uses the word 없다, that is no, which means negative. The overall meaning is 아무 일도 없다, that is nothing, which means nothing happened. Quiz! Then let's deepen our understanding with some quizzes. Which one is the correct answer? 아무 없는 네가 왜 걱정하냐? You have nothing to do with this, but why are you worried? Number 1, 상관도. Number 2, 상관이나. The correct answer is number 1. Here, 상관 is relation. You combine 아무도 with it to make 아무 상관도 없다, have no relation. In other words, it means have nothing to do with. Number 2, 상관이나 is wrong because the phrase 상관이나 없다 does not exist. Now, let's read it together. 아무 상관도 없는 네가 왜 걱정하냐? Please read it 3 times. Now, let's look at the next quiz. 그 사건에 대해서는 몰라요. I do not know anything about that incident. Number 1, 아무것이도. Number 2, 아무것도. This was another expression that could appear in a suspense dramas. The correct answer is number 2. 것 means a thing. You attach 도 directly. Thus, it becomes 아무것도. In addition, regarding this quiz, you can also use 전혀, at all, instead of 아무것도. Like 그 사건에 대해서는 전혀 몰라요. Both means the same. Number 1, 아무것이도 is a wrong conjugation, so don't use it. Now, let's read it together. 그 사건에 대해서는 아무것도 몰라요. Please read it at least 3 times. The last grammar is 얼마는지, how much something is. This expression is used to describe quantity or degree. It is often used 얼마나는지 모르다. Don't know how much something is. You use this when you want to emphasize the state of affairs or degree of an action. For example, you can say like 그 개그가 재미있어서 얼마나 웃었는지 몰라요. Because that gag was so funny, I didn't know how much I laughed. Did you understand how to use 얼마나는지 모르다? Then let's move on to the conjugation. For verbs, you attach 는지 to a stem regardless of a final consonant. For example, 가다 becomes 얼마나 가는지, how much I go. 먹다 will be 얼마나 먹는지, how much I eat. For adjectives, you attach 은이은지. For past tense, it becomes at 얻는지. And attention here! When you express a past event, at 얻는지 몰라요 is correct instead of at 얻는지 몰랐어요. Okay? For example, 얼마나 더웠는지 몰라요. I don't know how hot it was is correct instead of 얼마나 더웠는지 몰랐어요. Okay? Now, let's see how much you want to emphasize. 내가 얼마나 노력했는지는 이젠 알 것 같아. I think I know how hard you tried. In this example, 노력했다 means tried hard. You attach 는지 to the stem to make 노력했는지, how hard you tried. And you attach 얼마나 before it to make 얼마나 노력했는지, how hard you tried. Let's look at the next example. 그를 내가 얼마나 싫어하는지 아무도 이해해주지 않는다. No one understands how much I hate him. You can already feel how much she dislikes him, can't you? And this example includes today's 2 grammar rules. Let's start with the 얼마나는지. The verb 싫어하다 means to hate, to dislike. It does not have a final consonant. So you attach 는지 to make 싫어하는지, how much I hate. You attach 얼마나 before it to make 얼마나 싫어하는지, how much I hate. In this sentence, the second grammar 아무도 이해해주지 않는다 is also included. It means no one understands. Now, let's look at the next example. 지금 지구 환경이 얼마나 심각한 상황인지 정확히는 알 수 없다. Now, we don't know exactly how serious the situation of the global environment is. Here, 심각한 상황이다 means it is a serious situation. 이다 to be is an adjective. So, you attach 니은지 to make 심각한 상황인지, how serious the situation is. Quiz! Then let's deepen our understanding with some quizzes. Which one is the correct answer? 내가 이 일에 내 인생을 바쳐왔는지 모른다. I don't know how much I have devoted my life to this job. Number 1, 얼마든지. Number 2, 얼마나. The correct answer is number 2. It is appropriate to insert 얼마나, which means how much. Number 1, 얼마든지 means as much as subject likes, so it has a different meaning. Now, let's read the correct sentence together. 내가 이 일에 내 인생을 얼마나 바쳐왔는지 모른다. Please read it 3 times with the emphasis you want to put on it. Now, let's look at the next quiz. 그 사람이 얼마나 상상이 가겠어요? Can you imagine how weird that person is? Number 1, 이상한지. Number 2, 이상하는지. The correct answer is number 1. 이상하다 means to be weird, to be strange. It has 하다, but. It is an adjective. Did you get tricked? Therefore, 니은지 is the correct noun modifier. You attach 니은지 to the stem to make 이상한지, how weird. Number 2, 이상하는지 is a wrong conjugation. So, don't use it. Now, let's read it together. 그 사람이 얼마나 이상한지 상상이 가겠어요? Please read it 3 times while imagining the speaker's honest feelings. Now, it's time for today's saying. You can find today's grammar. 사람들은 당신이 그 일을 얼마나 빨리 끝냈는지는 금방 잊지만 얼마나 훌륭하게 처리했는지는 오래 기억한다. People quickly forget how fast you finished a task, but they will remember for a long time how well you handled the task. Yes, it's better to handle a task well rather than finish quickly, isn't it? Moving on to the homework, there are 2 assignments. First, compose 3 sentences using today's grammar. Firstly, let's use 아무이나 any. For example, 결정을 잘 못하는 사람에게 아무거나 라는 말은 참 편리하다. For the indecisive, the word anything is very useful. Secondly, let's use 아무도 no. For example, 이 물건은 아무 소용도 없었다. This item was good for nothing. That's an example that conveys a sense of disappointment. Keep in mind that 아무 소용도 없다 means good for nothing. It is a phrase. Lastly, let's use 얼마나는지, how much something is. For example, 저 그림이 얼마나 예쁜지 직접 보고 느껴보세요. Please directly see and feel how beautiful that painting is. It's a line that someone who likes painting would say, isn't it? The second homework is to memorize new words. Please memorize the 40 words from number 2281 to number 2320 on page 29 in the intermediate vocabulary list. That is a vocabulary quiz of 40 words on my website, so just feel free to try it. The link is in the description box. Thank you for your hard work today. Let's keep up the good work with a cheerful and positive mind. I'm excited to see your writing too. And I will do my best to become the best Korean teacher in the world. 그럼 오늘도 행복 가득, 웃음 가득한 하루 되세요. 한국어 파이팅 파이팅 파이팅!